Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are diving into fundamental concept for Python developers, virtual environments. Whether you are just starting out or have some experience, understanding and using virtual environment is key to managing your Python projects efficiently. Stick around and by the end of this video, you will know what they are, why they are important, and how to create them and how to deactivate them. So let us get started. So the first thing we need to understand is what is a virtual environment. So what is a virtual environment? Imagine you are working on a multiple Python projects. One project needs Python 3.10 and Django 4.2, while another needs Python 3.9 and Flask 2.3. If you try to manage these projects on the same system without virtual environments, things can get messy really quickly. Conflicting dependencies, version mismatches, and a lot of headaches. So a virtual environment solves this problem. It creates an isolated environment for your project, also like a private workspace. This means each project can have its own specific Python version and libraries, completely independent of other projects. Why are virtual environments important? Here is why. Virtual environments are crucial. Number one, dependency isolation. Each project gets its own set of libraries. No more worrying about breaking one project while installing something for another. Version control. You can use specific versions of Python packages for each project, perfect for maintaining older projects. Portability makes it easy to collaborate with your teammates, can recreate the same environment using requirement.txt file, which I will show you on how to generate requirements.txt file with one command. So in short, virtual environment keeps your Python project organized and conflict free. How to create virtual environment? So let's get hands-on now. Creating virtual environment is super easy. First, make sure Python is installed. To check, open your terminal or command prompt and type. So for me, I'm in VS Code, so I will use VS Code terminal. To check if Python is installed, I will use Python 3 and say version, hit enter. So if Python is installed, you will see the version number. Great. You can see I have Python 3.12.7. Okay, so you will be able to see which Python is installed. If you haven't installed Python in your machine, please do install it. Visit python.org and then download it and install it in your machine. For those who are using Linux, Python is already, there is high chances that Python is already installed. Let me create a folder where we will create our virtual environment. So let me call that environment. Now let us navigate to that folder where we will be creating our environment. Okay, so cd environment. Let me clear the terminal. Once we have done that, so I'll show you two ways you can create your virtual environment. Let us start with the first way. Remember, I had installed Python 3.12, so I can create virtual environment using Python 3.12, Python 3.12. So Python 3.12 is my version. Sometimes you may need to use Python without this 3.12 depending on how you installed it, okay? So you can use python -m vnv.env. I think for people using Windows, you don't need to specify this, but you can specify if you want. Okay, so I have this and I have this. So this .env is my virtual environment name, and then vnv, this one, is the module that creates the virtual environment, and .env is the name of the environment folder. You can name it anything you like, but env or vnv are common conventions. So if I hit enter, give it some few seconds and we will be able to see .env being created inside our environment folder. So that is one way of creating it. And then there is second way you can create it using, for example, you can say virtual env and then specify the name of the environment. So for this one, let's say .env. Okay, so you can see it has been created as well. So you can see we have these two virtual environments that we created using two different techniques. This one we created using Python 3.12. We created it using Python 3.12. This one we created using this command, and .env we created it using virtual env, this command. So for this we created it using virtual env. So those are two techniques of creating virtual environment. And now let us move on to the next stage, whereby we need to activate this virtual environment. To activate this, the command depends on your operating system. For those who are using Windows, here is how you activate it. So for example, let's say we want to activate this. For Windows users, you use // and then say scripts and then / and say activate. Okay, so ensure env is your virtual environment name and scripts, the S is capital, and then activate. This command is for those using Windows. This is how you can activate your virtual environment in Windows. And for those who are using Linux and Mac OS, this is how you activate it. Source and then virtual environment name, bin, activate. So env, this is the virtual environment name that we want to activate it, and our script is inside bin. So if I open it, go to bin, you can see we have the script of activating our virtual environment. So you can see the script is right there. Now, if I hit enter, we will be able to activate our virtual environment. So when the environment is activated, you will see its name. So the name of the environment is right there in your terminal prompt, like in brackets, in these brackets before the path. Okay. So this indicates you are working inside the virtual environment. So from here, you can install now your packages. So for example, I can install Django and say pip install Django. Give it some few seconds to install. Once it has installed, we can check. Remember, we had activated this environment. So if I go to libraries, we'll be able to see all packages that were installed. You can see we have Django here, we have this sgirf, and as well we have SQL pass. But if we go to this .env file, which we did not activate, you will be able to see that there was nothing that was installed. So you can see environments creates that isolated workspace for a specific project. Okay, so the package that we just installed will be available only in this environment, env, and won't affect your global Python setup. Now, the last part of this video, I want you to understand, once you work, you need to deactivate your virtual environment. You can do that as well, deactivating your virtual environment. When you are done working, you can deactivate the environment with a simple command, say deactivate. Hit enter, and you will be able to see the name is not showing here. That means that we have deactivated it. Once you deactivate, you will be taken back to your system's default Python setup. The virtual environment is still there. You can activate it again whenever you need it. Okay, so you can come again and then activate it by saying source env bin. You can activate it and then deactivate it once you are done with it. That is it. Virtual environments are simple yet powerful tool for managing Python projects. By isolating dependencies and versions, they make your workflow smoother and your project easy to maintain. So, and lastly, before I forget, I need to show you on how to generate requirements.txt file for your projects. So to do that, you need to freeze it. So pip freeze, and then have this, and then requirements.txt file. Basically what this command will do, will create this file inside the current folder, and then it will print all the packages that have been installed inside the activated virtual environment. So let me delete this. For this, I made a mistake. I activated all the packages that have been installed globally. So let me delete this one, and then let me activate one of the virtual environments that we have. So let me activate env. Remember, we installed Django in env, and now let me freeze. So pip freeze requirements.txt. So it will be able to print all the packages that are installed in this env. Remember, we have three packages. We have sgrf, Django, and SQL pass. You will be able to confirm that if you come to libraries. You will be able to see sgrf and Django and then SQL pass. So that is how you generate your requirements.txt file, so that your teammates can as well create the exact environment with the same versions of packages. So you can see it is printing even the version that was installed. So that is it, guys. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Python tips and tutorials. Have questions or suggestions? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy coding.